This is Coach Neffy of Bella Yoga and Health Coaching, and I am so thankful that we were able to have a great evening of autumn yoga. Depending on when you are watching this video, I want you to know that we have free complimentary live virtual yoga and meditation sessions, usually about every 6 weeks or so as a part of this Facebook group. So please feel free to join us. And most importantly, I want to let you know that there is yoga for everybody and every body. So you might be just beginning your yoga journey and not really sure what style of yoga might be the best fit for you. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video, is that there are so many different kinds of yoga, so many different styles that you might be able to enjoy. Now we might argue that the roots of yoga and what yoga is kind of transcends those styles, but that is neither here nor there for that video. I want you to feel inspired to try yoga, especially if you've never tried yoga before. So I thought I might talk about some of the different yoga styles that you might be interested in trying. There is a branch of yoga that is definitely geared more towards restoration and moving around like physical ailments and things like that. So I'm going to talk about those first. If you are someone that thinks that yoga is what it is in the magazines and that's the only type of style of yoga that there is out there, I want you to know that there is so many different types of yoga and that there are some of these styles that might be a better fit for you. For example, Yogi Jivamukti leads Accessible Yoga. You might be really interested in learning about yoga that could work really well for people that have experienced stroke or have experienced other forms of chronic illnesses that might make them feel like they can't go to the yoga class that they see in the magazines. So there's Accessible Yoga. Another amazing branch of yoga is Curvy Yoga. And there are also Restorative Yoga. We might do a Restorative Yoga session here soon. I'm thinking maybe it might be good for one of the winter sessions. So Restorative Yoga is where you hold restorative postures where you're supported by props for longer periods of time. There is also Yin Yoga, which is geared more towards relaxing into deep stretches, allowing the body to really open up. And there is Hatha Yoga, which is usually when people are talking about Hatha Yoga, they mean holding more intensive postures like, say, a lunge or a bird dog or warrior one, any of those types of poses for prolonged periods of time where they're really channeling the inhale and the exhale of the breath. So that would be a bunch of different styles of yoga for anyone that might feel like, oh, I can't walk into that yoga studio down the street. It doesn't seem like that would be a good fit for me. You might try Accessible Yoga, Curvy Yoga, Restorative Yoga, Yin Yoga, or Hatha Yoga. And then, of course, I do want to mention some fun type yogas to kind of segue. You might be interested in like goat yoga or kitten yoga or puppy yoga, which is basically being able to play with goats or puppies or kittens while trying some beginner accessible yoga, usually some sort of yoga flow. And okay, so then what does that even mean? What is yoga flow? When people talk about like flow yoga or Vinyasa flow or yoga flow, like what are they talking about? Okay, so that kind of leads us into a new branch of yoga that is most likely the type of yoga that you've seen in the magazines and that you've seen at a lot of common local studios. So Vinyasa yoga is the type of yoga that I tend to teach, and it's the style that I was trained in, but it is not the only style of yoga. For example, maybe you're a weightlifter and you want to do strength training while you do your yoga. You might be interested in iron yoga. So there's just so many different branches of yoga. It doesn't just have to be Vinyasa flow yoga, which is typically the one that you would more likely see. So Vinyasa Yoga, what that means is that it's flowing with the breath. So you'll typically inhale on an action move, exhale on an action move, inhale into an action move, and exhale into an action move. So a way that would be inhale to lift the arms up, exhale to bring the hands to prayer, inhale to bring the prayer up, exhale to ground the hands down. That's a type of vinyasa style, except you're doing that throughout the entire practice. Sometimes those styles can be really fun, whether it's beginning vinyasa flow or intermediate vinyasa flow, because you get to play with those transitions in between the postures. It can be very dance-like. For people that have a dance background, it might be something they naturally gravitate towards. And then, of course, there are many different styles of yoga that are common in the Western world, and then there are also different styles of yoga within, well, that will be another video. We're gonna talk about like Karma Yoga and like Bhakti Yoga and all that type of stuff in another video. So if that's the direction you're interested in, I will address that in another video. But for this type of video, there's of course Hatha Yoga. So people might be familiar with Hatha Yoga, whether it's Bikram Yoga, where it's a set series of 26 Hatha Yoga postures, or whether it's Corepower Yoga, or even, oh goodness, Baptiste is the other one. And so Ashtanga yogis. So all of those are going to be more like intense yoga, either through the gymnastic quality of the yoga or through the heat element. So if you are interested in, okay, Vinyasa yoga, but I kind of want to do something more intense, then that might be somewhere where you might naturally develop and gravitate towards our practices like Bikram Yoga or Corepower Yoga or Baptiste Yoga. And then to circle it back around, there's always new yoga styles being created every single day. So it might be more towards the beginning of yoga's branching and how it impacted us in the West with like Iyengar Yoga. That kind of grounds a lot of the healing traditions of like restorative and yin and Hatha and all those types of things kind of go back to that type of lineage where it's really about addressing alignment in the body in order for optimum healing. Or it might be the more intense gymnastic yoga. Oh goodness, I didn't even mention Jivamukti. Okay, well, anyway, to close, there are so many different styles of yoga. I just want you to feel inspired to search out the yoga that is the right yoga for you. And it might be something that's more restorative. It might be something that's more intense than what I offer here. It might be kind of middle of the road, which is a lot of what I offer here. And this might be a nice place for you to fall. So if you are a beginner to yoga, feel free to explore my offerings here. But I want you to know that there are so many different kinds of yoga. There is yoga for everybody and everybody, I promise. So if you've just only had one teacher ever and you hate yoga, maybe you just didn't like that one style or that one teacher. So don't give up on yoga if you just had one bad experience with one class, okay? Okay, well, I hope you have a beautiful evening. If you have any more questions about any of the different styles of yoga, oh goodness, and Buti Yoga, oh goodness. Okay, anyway, if you have any more questions about any of the things that I mentioned, want me to dive more into certain types of those yogas, feel free to let me know. I am happy to bring some of my more diverse expertise in my yoga toolkit to this channel if it's something that there's a good amount of people that want to enjoy. So, alright, this has been Coach Nevi of Bella Yoga and Health Coaching. May you have an amazing October, and I will see you for our live sessions on November 29th. Goodbye, lovelies.